Good evening, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. Just a few more on comments about bad joy. And that's really, I think, what I started off talking about in the last video, but I got hijacked by you-know-who. And not even in a Wally Girl outfit. Well, bad joy. Let's talk about bad joy. Bad joy is that incredible little boy who, if you're not careful, is a thief and he will steal your heart. And what can we say about him? Bad joy is a middle child. Now, I don't know whether any of you are middle children. I'm a middle child. The middle child is a syndrome, apparently, the middle child syndrome. Middle children are neither the valued first, the cherished first child, firstborn, and if they're the middle one of three especially, neither are they the loved baby, the spoiled baby. They're the middle child. I always used to say that I got blamed for everything, and I've seen it happen with others. Now, Jessica was unfortunately betrayed in the relationship she had, and had 3 children in Manila, and she got to a pretty bad situation where she needed some help, and we made it possible for her to come back home. And when she came back home, she is a naturally attractive, funny, fun-loving woman. And she immediately, when she went on the video that we made about her, out of the blue, we just decided, well, why don't we interview the 2 women that we know who are in our lives and beautiful. And that's what we did. So we interviewed Jessica, and we also interviewed Maria Therese. So, but Maria Therese is the other end of the spectrum. She's very young. She's still in high school, I think, and has a whole different life ahead of her. So Maria Therese was obviously just doing it for fun. But in a way, Jessica was not doing it for fun. And she expressed the wish that she would hope that at some point in her life she would be lucky enough to find a man who would honour her and respect her and her 3 children. It really isn't so easy when you think about it. Now, eventually, and actually it didn't take too long, but James saw her, they communicated back and forth, got to know each other over a relatively short time, and he did the obvious thing. He got on a plane and came here. Now, for any formula that anybody out there has for finding someone, you might take a leaf out of James's book. He saw someone that he thought would be everything that he wanted, and he damn well got on a plane and came out here and showed that that was exactly what his intention was. Well, it didn't take long. They spent 24/7 with each other over a period of time, eventually, and when he left, they were in a committed relationship. Now, actually, James, putting aside all of the stuff about this father or that father or the real father, or putting aside all of that, kids are extremely resilient, and in the end it depends on one thing. Do they like the guy who is going to take over as their dad? Now, I don't know whether you've seen how those 3 children behave toward James, but they love him, and he loves them, and he is gentle with them and firm. He has his own way, I can't fault him. So, not that I'm electing to put myself in that position where I can or should, but what happens with Bachoy is that the two others is the firstborn, which is RJ, and he is the cherished firstborn. I've got to be cold and hard here and say it like I think it is, because of the experience that I've had. Now, when I came into this situation, I thought, why isn't Bachoy with them? Well, he's the middle child, and I am able to understand that very well because, as I said, I am a middle child. And Rohan, if you've looked at Rohan, Rohan is the adorable baby. whatever way you cut it, the kid is overload in cute and beautiful and everything. And he is his mama's little baby. RJ is the clever, and the kid is cute, that other kind of cute, you know, where you go, oh yeah, cute. He's cute, he's precocious, he's confident, he is an artist, he can draw, he's sharp. He is a sharp child. And it just happens that he is an extremely handsome child. Now, he's the one with the very long hair. And people say, what's that little girl's name? I thought that there were 3 boys. Well, there's not 3 boys. RJ is a boy. Sorry, there are not 2 boys and a girl. RJ is a boy. Which brings us to Bachoy. And Bachoy, when Jessica finally decided that she needed to be next to the school because she couldn't do that 2-mile walk every day taking RJ down, she decided that she would get an apartment, and she has a studio apartment which most of you will have seen, and that's right next to the school. In fact, when RJ goes to school, he opens the front door and walks to school, which is probably takes him about a minute and 10 seconds because it's so close. You look out the door, there's the school. So he's there and can come home. It means that Jessica can go with one child. If she needs to be a teacher's help, she can do that. And she feels that Bachoy would be better with his grandma. Now, this is strange for people in the West to understand, but it is actually quite common in the Philippines that children will go and stay with someone else. Now, a lot of you might remember the original, the early videos that we make where Balalut lived with Grandma. And Balalut is the son of Rado. So Manorado is the father of Balalut. And Balalut came, and he came for purely practical reasons. On the few occasions that he came over, after Beth and I had arrived, he observed that we were eating better food. So he got a bag, filled the bag with his stuff, and he moved in. Nobody said anything. I said, why isn't Balalut going home? Well, he lives here now. How did that happen? Well, he decided, I think Beth said, I think he decided that we were having better food, so he moved in. And he moved in, and later he moved out. Now, why did he move out? Well, because he's a very independent kid, and the machine gun nanai was getting onto him and machine gunning him. So he didn't like that. So just as easy as he moved in, he moved out. So that brings us to Bachoy, and Bachoy lives with Nanai. And Nanai loves Batchoy and just loves having him with her, because Filipinos do not like to be alone. And this might be a very important key for you if you wonder about Filipinos and children. Filipinos adore children. And little boys are usually the little princes in the family. I remember being at the port once, and we were waiting to get the ferry to come back to Bohol, and sitting in front of us in the waiting area was a family, and there were 2 or 3 girls who were the obvious daughters, and there was one boy. And I watched how that he was treated, and then I said to the older girl, I said, "Excuse me, is that your brother?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Is he the only child, the only boy?" And she said, "Yes." "How did you know?" Right. So, back again to Batchoy. And he's here, and for what I see and understand, every day, once I found out what was what, I would always, and still do, say to Batchoy, "Batchoy, come here." As if I'm going to scold him, and he knows I'm not. And I hug him, and I kiss him on the forehead, and I say, "Batchoy, I love you." Now that, to me, is very simple therapy. And every day when he's in the truck with us and he goes somewhere with us, which he often does, a lot of the time, Beth will always say to him, "Batchoy, we love you." And he says, "Love you too." And when I say to him, "I love you, Batchoy," he says, "Love you too, Daddy Terence." And that's a big reward. A big, big reward. But it's also the kind of therapy that I think a kid needs. And I do that with the other children. I do that to Bibi. I tell her, "Bibi, I missed you when you were away, and I love you." And she says, "Love you too, Daddy Terence." Now, Talik Lick is a tougher cell, right? So you have to, it's kind of like pulling teeth with her. And then I talked to her about this subject just today. And I said, "Have you learned anything from foreigners?" Well, if you've been watching videos, you'll know that she was extremely talkative, to the point of being verbose, if you like, and she said, so he said, "Well, when you have your own children, will you tell them you love them?" "I don't know." He said, when you find the man who you're going to love for the rest of your life, will you tell him, 'I love you'?" "I don't know." I said, "Honey, if you haven't learned anything from a foreigner other than this, you should know by now that you should tell the people that you love that you love them." Well, she still ain't got it, but occasionally it's like solid gold. I say, "Talik, I love you," and she says, "Love you too, Daddy Terence." I remember seeing the result, and I'm finishing off here. I remember seeing the result of some research where they asked a load of kids, as young as 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Now, what does love mean to you? And one 5-year-old little boy said, I don't know about that. I'm only 5, I can't take the pressure. Really, that's really a true one. The other one was a little girl, and they said, what do you think about love? And she said, I think when you love someone, you should tell them. But if you tell them that you love them, you should really mean it. Also, you should tell them often, because they forget. I thought that was pretty awesome. So, I will love you and leave you, and I'll ask you to like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. Our subscriptions now are going exponential. They are going ever faster, ever more, ever faster in the same time. And we only reached 17,000, I think it was yesterday, and already I think that we might even be up to 400 as I speak now. Another 400. A little while ago, our change in our analytics, it would tell us the rate of change. It would say subscribers plus, and subscribers plus used to be 600, 700, 800 plus, and now they are close on 400 plus in 28 days. We are in the middle of the 28 days, so I think that Beth thinks by Monday or Tuesday we will be up at 18,000, and I think that she may well be right. Now, we've done this only by working hard at what we do, showing our lives, and trying to be honest about the things that we love. So, thanks for looking in. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines.